Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome in. Found us once again. Shoot the Gap. Rabbit Hole Fantasy Football Focus Show spanning the generation gap of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. I'm your MC, Brian Demigo Baldwin, and it's my honor, my absolute privilege to introduce Ethan, the Doc Marshall. How you doing, Ethan?
Yeah, I'm good. I got my coffee. It's a little different for us, you know.
Yeah. There's daylight. There's daylight behind me. Yeah.
I know. There's actually a large strip club outside our apartment, and it's the neon sign is blaring through the. No, it is daylight. Yes.
Yeah. Nice. And of course, the guy who just got through beating up on a bunch of ignorant fantasy football fools in a draft last night, Connor.
Hey,
Gut Marshall.
Hey! If any of my sports host crew is watching this, he's not talking about you guys.
I never mentioned which
guys
draft,
had
brother.
You guys had.
I never mentioned what draft, man.
Yeah,
that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
I joined this other league last night, and that was the draft we're talking. No, This is the morning episode. It's early. I got my Texans cup. I got my hoodie on, trying to, give my Bill Belichick vibes. And we're gonna get it, man.
Oh, I just.
No, but I'm not wearing a shirt underneath it. Does that count?
I guess.
Well, I just noticed, man. You got rid of the standalone stash. Yeah, I just now noticed that, man.
This is what happens when I don't touch my chin with a razor for a week.
Wow.
Yes.
That's manly. See, that's manly. I should have said because he's so manly, he can grow a chin beard in a week. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So as you mentioned, it's during the day. It's our 14th show, and it's on the day that we honor all the expected mothers, right? Right.
That's a good one. That's next level dad joke right there, man.
Labor Day, guys. Labor Day. Yeah. So as you guys are watching the show, if you're entertained by, three generational beefheads just bantering about, please hit the like and subscribe button. And of course, as you know, we'll feel the love and you'll get every episode you need to help you through the season that's happening. Yeah.
Starting Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, let's see here. Okay, so just a reminder, that hopefully you guys have been able to talk to your commissioners about the IR spots. So if you have any IR spots, this is a good time, guys, to go fishing. Basically, like if you see anybody that's injured, see if you can get them on your roster, put them in your IR spots. I think that's something that the doc's done with Debo. Is that right, my brother?
Yeah, both of the drafts that I've been in so far, I picked up Debo late, and I think it's great value, especially considering he might actually be ready on week 1. So you're kind of like, oh, great. I didn't kind of wished he was going to be on the bench for a little while.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think Jalen Rager's another great pickup there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very good point. And so, and of course, if you have any further like future thinking, kind of wide mind type of outside the box thinking commissioner, and they actually took the waiver wires off, then you're able just to jump, grab, put them into to IR, and then pick up the guy that you just dropped. Yeah. So, so yeah, man. So just keep an eye out. That's one thing I was gonna. Let's just start the show off with this little fantasy football like public service announcement. Okay. You had your draft, guys. Yes, PSA. You had your draft, all right? Okay, so, or if you haven't had your draft, you're about to, right? So everybody right now is kind of like having this feeling like they're in an afterglow, after the draft, like, okay, I got my team, you've already did the whole thing where you turned the lights down low, you looked at your rosters, like, ooh, look what I did. You're in that spot, right? That's cool. That's great for the few hours after the draft, maybe even a day. Okay, the game is on, guys. All right, so you have to make sure and make moves, and to be willing to move like as if you're mid-season. Because right now, everybody else is doing what I just told you. Now's the time when you go and grab stuff. Like a good example I want to go and do is that I thought I was the smartest guy. I thought the smartest guy in the room. I got DeAndre Swift, got Kerryon Johnson. Oh man, I'm living life. Look at me do the okie-doke, right? And, and then Sunday, staying true to watching team football. I woke up and read the news and said to myself, WTF. Adrian Peterson got signed by the Detroit Lions, blowing up that whole thing. Done, gone, blown, right? And my first instinct was like, let me just wait. Let me just see what happens. No, no, man. No. I was only that for a little bit. Then I started thinking, you know what? I need to make this thing work. We're in the game. We got to move. So I looked around. Just so happened, Leonard Fournette was in the pool. So I just dropped Kerryon Johnson for Leonard Fournette. So yeah, that's the stuff you could do right now, guys. Okay, right now, because everybody's sleeping. All right. So make sure, get in the game, guys. It's time for you to go. So I want to make sure and get that thing out there. So thank you for listening. And Connor and Ethan, thank you for giving me the time to say so, man. You guys are great men.
Well, I mean, that's one of the most important things, man, is that making sure people know you don't win in the draft. You win on the waivers and trades, and that's where you win fantasy championships. So
and also
that doesn't mean it starts after week 1. That means it starts before week 1, because Labor Day weekend is one of the busiest weekends for people moving teams in football. So y'all had your drafts before this weekend. I had Adam Schefter's Twitter profile giving me alerts every time he tweeted, because I wanted to be on top of that,
Nice. And now you just gave out your source. Good job. Yeah.
No one's figured out how to use Twitter.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, this guy no one's heard of, Adam Schefter. I think maybe he's on the news or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So last episode,
ESPN should hire him.
Nah, that'd be a stupid move. Yeah. All right. In the last episode we did a 12-man mock draft, and that was our last mock of the season. That was it. Macarena. So we also went over a lot of training camp information. And we also played a new game called Back That Ass Up. And Connor discussed, where's his beef was. Hang on. He discussed his beef.
Where's the beef?
Yeah. yeah. There we go. Basically, he brought up that if you're going to disrespect the best Texans wide receiver to ever put on the uniform, then you got to step to Connor.
You got to. It's crucial. It's gonna happen. I was put on this earth to do a couple of things. One of them was witness Andre Johnson beat Finnegan's ass, and I will not let anyone disrespect my boy.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's part of your missions, dude. That means you're one step closer to the grave. Wow, exactly. How scary is that? Yeah.
Well, if I'm still here, that means there are more people that are gonna disrespect Andre. The fight lives on.
His outfit right now is kind of like a millennial Grim Reaper right now.
Exactly. That's what I am.
Nice. You look cold. That's what you look.
Yeah. I'm bored is what I am. I'm trying out new outfits to see what sticks.
Wow. Well, we're trying our best to entertain you, Connor. Yeah.
I'm bored with myself. It's not you guys. It's I gotta switch it up. You know how like Ryan Fitzpatrick goes to a different team every year?
Yeah.
That's how he doesn't get bored.
Is that his choice, or is that?
I mean, the man went to Harvard. He seems pretty smart.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Josh Rosen, dude.
I wanna use this perfectly executed segue to talk about my team that I drafted last night, because it was a 12-team league, guys, and you guys know 12-team leagues. This is hard to get everything you want.
Yeah.
It's hard to get everything you need. And I remembered a couple of weeks ago talking to the Amigo, and he said that he expected our league that the three of us are doing, he expected there to be a run on quarterbacks and no quarterbacks be available by around the 6th round. That's what you said. Yeah, that didn't happen in the league that the three of us are in, but the league that I'm in, it's called the Bo Jackson League. In the Bo Jackson League, that definitely happened. Someone drafted Deshaun Watson in the 2nd round.
Wow.
Yes.
Was that above Mahomes and Jackson?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Homer.
I think so.
No.
Yes.
Hold on. They deserve this.
Abby, if you're listening, you're a wonderful person.
Oh my God, dude! You
That's
don't
the
mean to be calling
person
out names, dude. Holy mackerel!
Well, everyone knows it's Abby. It's totally an Abby move.
Yeah, great. And this would be a good time for us
Down.
This would be a good time for us to thank our supporters of the show. All right, our sponsors, High Volume Music Radio. Yeah, go check them out. Download the app. You'll be happy you did. There's a Pride of Sunnyside. This will have great music, great information there, and of course has us. So so please check it out. Download it, check it all out. You'll be happy you did. And the other one, of course, is SportsHosts app. So go ahead and talk about that, Connor, and then you can jump back into your draft, my brother.
Yeah, so SportsHosts, great app. Shout out to the people at SportsHosts that make just sports in general more fun. I mean, it's the international sports community. It doesn't matter where you're from, what you're into. It's just bringing people together. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, because that's where the Bo Jackson League is, and I'm having a lot of fun playing with these people. And seriously, we make jokes about the players that people pick, but at the end of the day, fantasy football, it's a game. You draft who you want to draft. No one's really judging you. That's all it's all a game. Anytime you play a game, people are going to talk. People are going to have fun, all right? That's all it is. It's not an ugly thing. It's just a game.
It shouldn't be, but yeah. Everybody that I know of kind of smack dogs, dude. And I think if I remember correctly, the reason why we didn't record our draft was because we were worried about it being so, like, you couldn't see us. It'd be so dark in Connor's room because there'd be so much shade in there.
That is true. That is true. I like to throw shade, but when you're in a league with people that you actually know, that exponentially multiplies how much trash you're gonna talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the league that we're all in together, I thought that most people drafted pretty well. I mean, there were some teams that were questionable.
Yeah, someone drafted Todd Gurley in the 3rd round, and I was kind of like,
I can outdo that.
Hey, that's the champ. Hey, lay off the champ, man. Come on.
In the other league
last year, though.
No.
In the other league, I mean, someone picked up Leonard Fournette in the 1st. So there's picks like that happened everywhere, right?
I got a 1st round draft pick off the pool. Woo!
Exactly, dude. And that's like that outlier just made the ADP jump up so much.
Yeah, it sure did. But yeah, but the SportsHost app, there's no trash talking. It's all love. It's people helping people, fantasy football people, just loving on each other, just talking to each other. So yeah, definitely download that app. That's another thing you'll be happy
link in bio.
To do. There you go. Yeah, and so we're already kind of just laying out a little bit of what we're going to do on the show here. I think Ethan, do you have things that don't matter, but who knows?
I have there are a couple that I'm thinking about here, but I'm going to go with the one that's a little more vanilla.
Okay.
It was announced this morning. Yes, it was announced this morning.
Oh no, we're doing it now. Awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, let's do it. Let's do it, man. Feel the rhythm. Feel the flow.
I think this works because it's kind of news, right?
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Fitzmagic was named the starter for Week 1 for the Dolphins. So in y'all's mind, what does that do to the value of Gesicki, Parker, and any other relevant receivers?
Tell Christy I said bless you.
Yeah, God bless you. Yeah. Yeah, that was
a powerful sneeze.
That was from in here, dude. That was her soul sneezing. Yeah,
soul sneeze.
That's the only way she knows how.
First of all, before Connor, I want to hear your opinion on this, but I want to make sure and say a point first, though. I'm not gonna comment on that, but I want to say that there was there's some power that just happened that everybody's ignoring. Okay, I was literally on the phone with Connor last night whenever he was drafting. and he's like, you know what, man, I think I'm gonna stream a quarterback this for week one. He said, so with my 15th pick, I'm gonna pick a quarterback to stream, right? And so I was trying to ask him about Philip Rivers, like because they're playing against Jacksonville, right? And then and he's like, man, but my gut's telling me Fitzpatrick, man, Fitzpatrick, and at the time, he hadn't been named the starter or anything, but I was like, but when I was telling him, I said, and that actually right now, this week one, this would be a good time to say this, that you have to think like Socrates right now, dude. All right. The only thing that you truly know is that you don't know anything. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
That's
was
the basis.
really, yeah.
That's the basis of wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is just a guess right now. We don't have a preseason. So everything is just a guess and gut. And that's whenever when I said that to Connor, I was like, dude, forget what I said. Go with your gut. He's like, should I? I was like, dude, go with your gut. Go for it, man. So that's what he did. Wake up this morning, Fitzpatrick is starting. There you go. That's my speech.
It felt good making that decision and then reading it this morning. It's like, oh,
No, you
name him
caused
the
it.
starter. Oh,
You
that's
caused it.
good to know.
Yeah, dude, you tilted everything that way.
Just my decision. I'm gonna pick him. Everyone, hey,
Yeah, the Lord said, "Hey, Connor picked
Fitz is the starter
Fitzpatrick.
now."
I deem it.
Well, I'm really excited because in in the league that I have, Ryan Fitzpatrick, it's the 12-man league. My other quarterback was Aaron Rodgers, and he plays Minnesota week 1. And I like Fitz's matchup against the New England defense with like half of their guys opting out a lot better.
Yeah, the pass rush especially is depleted.
Yes.
The secondary is the only main piece they lost was someone who really wasn't a big impact player last year. But the pass rush, it's not what it used to be.
And I actually did study New England's defense last year because I wanted to know why they were so good. And obviously, Bill Belichick, he's like a defensive mind. He's always going to have a good defensive squad. But last year, their whole defense was designed around, since everyone is so good, everyone has a specific job that they're supposed to do, and if anyone on the squad doesn't fill their particular role, if they don't, if anyone makes a mistake, it the whole thing goes away because they're playing very aggressively. They would always play aggressively. They would always make the aggressive move. So it was very high risk, high reward, and it worked for them. But I don't think they can do that again this year.
Okay. Well, and it worked in the first half of the season when they had a fairly easy schedule. Once they started facing more, it started with Lamar Jackson and Baltimore.
I remember that game very fondly.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson put it up.
Because I remembered thinking, should I be scared of starting Lamar Jackson? And then I was like, nah. And then he got like two rushing touchdowns on his first 2 possessions, Brian?
Yeah, man.
I mean, you owned
yes, it was. Yes, it was.
It's like some anger there, man. What's going on?
You're wrong for that. You're wrong for that, sir. You're wrong for that. That's awesome. That's awesome. But so Connor,
back to the main matters. Like getting back to the point.
Yeah, back to the point.
Does this matter or not? Does this? And I'm asking particular. I mean, we've kind of pivoted towards streaming Fitzpatrick as a starting quarterback. But what about my original question about the
other people about Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, even Matt Breida.
And also just the running game in particular, because if he, blows the top off passing downfield, then it opens up the running game. So,
yeah, I think that Breida actually has a better shot at production under Fitz than he does under Tua. Because like you said, if Fitz is there and he can blow the top off, they can't stack the box. I think with Tua, they'll probably stack the box anyway because they want Tua to throw it. They don't want Tua to run with. I think it's a little bit of an upgrade for Parker. So any Parker owners, I'd probably start him unless you had a better option at wide receiver. I would maybe try to trade Parker if he has like a really good week 1 because he is streaky. On them last year. I own Gasicki in one of my leagues, and I think I'm still starting Noah Fant over him. It's a tough situation because both of those guys, Noah Fant and Mike Gesicki, they've had the organization come out and say that they're going to use them in non-traditional tight end ways.
Mm. So the Fant is going to be facing Tennessee Titans, week 1, and Gasicki and
Fitz.
no, I always forget the guy's name, the quarterback for the Broncos.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. With him at quarterback, Gesicki is going to be facing a depleted New England defense with Fitzpatrick as the quarterback. So, what's your thinking there on Fant being more value there?
Well, I owned Cortland Sutton last year, and I noticed that in the second half of the year, he was not Drew Lock's safety valve. He was not his preferred target. It was Noah Fant, and like a couple of weeks ago, they came out and said like we're gonna work Fant in the slot. We're gonna give him end arounds. We're gonna put the ball in his hands.
And Judy isn't worrying you at all.
No, because I think for Judy to get cooking, Fant needs to cook first. He's how if Locke is gonna get himself going, he needs Fant to do that. Maybe he gets 6 passes to Fant and then he starts because defenses are gonna start covering him.
I wouldn't say that your concern would be those guys, dude. Okay,
Judy?
I would say you're. Yeah, no, I don't think Judy's going to affect Noah Fant. I think Albert O is going to affect
the other the other rookie tight end.
Yes, the monster that they drafted. There's been a lot of information about him coming out. A lot of good stuff. They love his work ethic. They love how he's hard to tackle. So they might be splitting time with him. Okay, and that's what I'm concerned about. I'm also concerned about Mr. Melvin Gordon. Okay, because that guy does the best whenever he's catching. He's not a between the tackle runner really. So he's going to be demanding those passes. So whenever there's a pass play, Noah Fant's not the first look. Melvin Gordon's the first look.
He's the first look.
Yes,
over Cortland Sutton
in a short yardage situation. Let me be specific. Good question. Specifically speaking, in a short yardage situation, it's going to be Gordon. It's not going to be Fant. Yeah, and that means also
what if Locke doesn't? Line. What if Locke doesn't have the connection though?
Well, dude, you already know how I feel. I mean,
I know.
I feel like a quarterback's best friend is a pass catching running back, and so that can get you out of any mess. Ask, Phillip Rivers.
System QB.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why that's what I would be concerned about if I was Noah Fant. If I was an owner of Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki, I'd be nervous about Preston Williams. Okay, that's who I'm nervous about because whenever Parker had his breakout and Gesicki had his breakout, it was call it coincidence, but Preston Williams was out. Yep. He was, and earlier in the episodes, I mentioned that I like Gesicki. Actually, when I said Gesicki was one of my love targets, I believe. Yeah, is because of that fact of Preston Williams being out. Dude's back. Okay, so. With that in mind, that's what I'd be most concerned about. I'd be excited about Fitzpatrick being the quarterback over Tua, only because Tua has admitted that he doesn't know the playbook completely right now, and Fitzpatrick is kind of dependable. And what you guys said was exactly right, man. New England is something that can be picked apart. I don't know of any situation, any year where the defense, the number one defense from the previous year, was the number one defense in the current year. Okay. New England was number one last year. I don't think they're going to be number one. You guys laid it down the line. So that's my feeling on that, Doc.
Yeah.
So I would say it does matter. I said it does matter. Yeah.
That's what but maybe not for those players as much because of Preston Williams.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, but just the fact of if just generally speaking, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah, especially since he airs it out. I don't know if Tua's going to air it out right off the bat, but we'll see.
No, if anything, I would say actually for Tua versus Fitzpatrick, I say Tua makes me go higher on Gesicki and your pass catching backs. Fitzpatrick makes me go higher on the slot and outside receivers.
Let's talk about that because I had a conversation with the gut yesterday, and he voiced concern over Matt Breida because the Raiders just traded their third round 2020 draft pick Lynn Bowden to Miami. If you're curious what they got back a linebacker Raekwon McMillan and a fifth rounder. So, but you were just talking about how the pass catching back, running back, which presumably would be Matt Breida. I mean, are we concerned about Lynn Bowden Jr.?
I mean, to me, I see that as depth piece. But anytime you have a depth piece, it's just another person that's there to, vulture out carries if someone misses a block, if someone fumbles. I mean, that's just more pressure. That if they make a mistake, you might not see him for the rest of that game, and that dude might come in and get the rest of the work that day. So that's why it would worry me.
That's the Rojo approach, right? Yeah. That happens to Rojo all the time. Connor, you're an owner of Matt Breida. Matt Breida was one of your love targets, dude. Does that bother you? You concerned?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. Not concerned enough to drop him. I'm gonna monitor the situation, and if it seems like if it's gonna be the type of thing where I have to hold him for like 8 weeks to see what's gonna happen, then I might move on.
So if this situation, it sounds something similar to like as far as like what's a threat to a running back that you own. Sounds similar to like to New Orleans. Who would be that threat to like Kamara? Who is that main threat?
This is the most broadcasted attempt at getting this out of me that I have ever seen on the show.
Just
But
asking,
for
dude. For the
sake of
people.
continuity, for
the
the
people.
sake of the argument in this situation,
For the people.
given the criteria that you have listed me with and the player roster, in that situation, the only player I could think of that would
Be
do to
honest.
Kamara
Honest.
what I'm feeling about Breida would be someone that we would classify as Voldemort.
Yeah. It's alive again. That's two. All right. That's Taysom Hill for everybody. I don't know.
Love it.
Yeah. Gene, you're back. You're
Yeah.
back, Gene. Okay. So
I
you're
feel
worried
dirty.
that he's the Voldemort of Miami. That's basically Lynn Bowden, the Voldemort of Miami. Is that correct?
I mean, yeah, I was so psyched because it was just Matt Breida and the Joho, and I thought, okay, Breida got this Joho. He's got his number. Joho no mo. Matt Breida's the show for show. But no,
Hey, that rhymed.
they got this other guy, and now we're back to when he was in San Francisco, and it's like there's so many guys that like they're never just gonna give him the job. Like they're gonna use a platoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, a lot of these late round shots, like pretty much after, like post seventh round, post eighth round, it's not even the first week that you're waiting until to see if those picks pay off. You'll find out over Labor Day weekend if those picks are paying off, because that's when teams make these moves and kind of at least cement the starters for the first week and what you're going to expect that first week. So yet another reason to follow the Amigos' advice on paying close attention and making moves now, because that's where, if you have a pick not pan out because of a trade move over this weekend, you can pivot and pick someone up off waivers and make up for that choice, and you could reconcile it. You could make it good.
Yeah, absolutely right. Sorry, I got a little distracted. You gotta
no.
tell Christy we said hello.
I will. She asked me to get her. She needed something, and I was like, "It's okay."
No,
So
that's great. That's
bring
great.
a little beauty to the podcast because see our ugly mugs all the time.
Agreed. Well, except for Connor. Yeah. So normally, we were talking about the Reaper meter. which is
Yes.
a way to gauge if there's going to be a full season or not. All right. And so new information came out. Okay. So the NFL sent out a memo regarding COVID. And here are the bullet points of the menu. So they basically said, or of the memo, not menu. It's daily testing will continue until further noticed. Okay. So, but there'll be no more PCR testing on game day. Do you
Mm.
guys know? Y'all know what? Oh, you know, Doc. Connor, do you know what PCR testing is?
That's when they test your PC to see if you have any rated R movies on there.
Mm.
So it's polymerase chain reaction. Okay. Okay.
So what it sounds to me, my initial reaction is, it sounds like this is good for football. It sounds like less people are
I'm
going to
not
be getting
done.
game day corona
I'm not
tests.
done. Yeah, dude, I went through the trouble of learning the definition, so I'm gonna pull this out. That is a method widely used to rapidly make millions to billions of copies of specific DNA sample, allowing scientists to take a very small sample of DNA and amplify it to a large enough amount to study in detail.
It's like from Jurassic Park, right?
Right.
It helps them understand. It helps them understand, right?
Right.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
And so here's one thing I thought was going to be kind of cool. Okay, point of care testing is only going to be as needed on game day, which that's the swab test. And remember, we were worried about that. You know, maybe that might cut down a little bit on these pop up of these COVID sit downs that might happen on game day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they said that players can only go in the day after a game for treatment, but there's exceptions that are made on short weeks. So with that information, guys, what's y'all's Reaper meter on having a full season?
All right, well, first the obligatory. To me, that makes me less fearful of how it's going to impact the season, right?
So you don't fear the Reaper?
No, not right now. I mean, that to me is like great, you know. But the flip side is, if they're not testing on game day, it's like, oh, great, I'm not going to have to sit this dude. But if they don't test on game day and someone has it, and then they go out there and then they're balling out the entire time, it's like, oh, great, you know, like
details.
Give it to everyone.
Right. Well, a lot of people have drafted like not even considering that, you know, the next morning, you know, it's all in the moment. So for you to think, ask people to think that way, that's
I am the author of the things that don't matter, but who knows?
Yeah, right.
Who knows?
Especially kind of my special.
Connor, what's your thoughts on it, man?
I'm not too. I mean, you know, I want to say I've been at a 1 the last 3-4 weeks. I'm not moving. I'm still at a 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to my pops about this a couple of weeks ago, because he said, like, what if, you know, football just doesn't happen, right? What if people just hold out? Like, there have already been so many deadlines that have passed, which people had like time to act. Like the opt-out deadline has already passed. If you wanted to opt out because of Corona, you missed the window. If you didn't want to play football because of Corona, you missed the window. Everyone, the overwhelming emotion and sentiment was, we want to play football. So I don't see that stopping anytime soon. I see a full season.
All right. That sounds awesome. That sounds fantastic. All right. So did you guys, Doc, I'm not even going to ask you anymore, Connor. But Doc, did you watch Hard Knocks, the last episode?
No, man. This last week is the university I teach at is now the city is now the number 2 hotspot for COVID. So I've had a hell of a last week. So no, I did not get to watch it.
Damn, dude, everybody licking doorknobs over there, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you know what? Like, you know, we're not in a pandemic. Let's have a party. Fresh party. Woo. You know.
Well, hang on. You're in a draft league in that for your university, right?
Yeah, we are not drafting in person.
Okay, yeah, I thought you said you were going to do that. Yeah.
No, we're drafting, but it's going to be virtual. Like we're doing
Okay.
that format. Yeah.
Oh, so I guess you guys see, he really is a doctor. Yeah, he does have a certificate. But no, I watched it, okay, because apparently I don't have a life. And but this episode, okay, it you know, it did show a lot of things. You know, of course, it did get into the it was really interesting was in the like towards the end of the show of the episode, it gave some incredible insight, to the locker rooms when the recent tragic of the officer involved shooting that happened, and and that sparked the cry for injustice again. So it was really interesting to me to see behind the veil, and see people's true feelings and how they digest it, how the NFL is actually digesting it, and how the players are coming together. And it's kind of it's taking something bad and making it into something beautiful, because it's really bonding these people together. So I think that's a very good thing, in that respects. But the episode also showed awesome Reckler. Yeah, it showed him. Dude, he was able to jump like 10 feet in the air to clear a barrier. The teams were doing like a competition to see who can go the highest, and he's the one who won. And of course, I'm smiling because that's the guy I drafted.
He's an Eckler owner.
Yeah, man. I'm an awesome Reckler. Yeah.
Awesome
Oh.
Reckler.
Hey, look at that. That's awesome. Reckler. Okay. And and it also showed, though, it wasn't so gruesome, but it did show the injury to Mike Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
Like where he sprained his AC joint, and so and of course that's the main headline, what I just told you. Same thing, but I'm trying to look at things that are like behind that, and we'll talk about the Williams injury in a second. But I just want to make this one point, is that last episode I was telling you where they were trying to show how awesome Arnold is, right? Arnold. How they're trying to show how awesome he was, how he kept coming in and sacking the quarterback. It really showed, though, how terrible the line is for the Rams. Okay. And in this situation, the reason why Williams hurt his shoulder, was that he was balling out, and he was jumping for an overthrown ball by Tyrod Taylor. And that's what I remember about Tyrod Taylor. He is not very accurate, especially on long balls.
You would not describe him as accurate.
No, well, I wouldn't describe that as accurate.
Accurate. Accurate.
It depends how accurate you want to be. So with that in mind, two-part question. Start with you, Ethan, on the Mike Williams injury. What do you think that affects? Hunter Henry. How does it affect Keenan Allen? Because he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. That's what they're saying. Okay. How does it affect my man Austin Reckler? Okay. Then also, side piece. How worried are you about Tyrod Taylor if you're an owner of Allen or Hunter or Eckler?
That's a great two-part question, because even if you were just asking about the receivers, I would add something about Taylor. So that's great question. I mean, it's like in the same breath, it makes me, if you picked up Keenan Allen, like in the 6th, 7th, 8th round, it's like, okay, well, maybe I feel a little better about that pick. All right. It was a little risky. Same with picking up Hunter Henry, maybe the 9th or 10th round where you picked him up. And if you were able to snag Eckler in the 2nd, that's great. It's just one less mouth to feed. Right. But then you ask yourself, well, why did the injury happen? I mean, if we had to blame it on someone, it'd be poor quarterback play. So
exactly.
What I would say is it makes me most optimistic for Eckler and Henry, because those are going to be the targets that are going to be, you got a massive target in the middle of the field, not too deep, or someone that's a check down, right? It doesn't make me more optimistic for Keenan Allen, because what that tells me is that dude's not very accurate.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Connor, you have any thoughts on that, man?
Look, man, I'm not as in. I'm probably the least in on awesome Reckler out of the three of us. And
blasphemy.
Well, a good point that I've heard made in the fantasy world is that unlike Phillip Rivers, Tyrod Taylor, he's a normal human. He has feet. He doesn't have cinder blocks for feet like Phillip Rivers does. So when you don't have cinder blocks for feet, you don't have to throw it to Austin Reckler 39 times every game, because the pocket is terrible. There's no O-line. But what I think Tyrod Taylor, Mr. TRT, I foresee him scrambling a lot more than Rivers ever would. So even if Eckler is the one on his team in terms of targets, which I could see that happening. He's not going to be as good as he was last year. And why he was so good last year was because you didn't have to pay for him in the second round.
Did Taylor ever have in his travels, Cleveland, Buffalo? Did he ever have a running back like Eckler that could catch the ball and run like he can and make plays?
Yeah.
Like him? Who?
Shady.
Shady.
Yeah.
And how did Shady do?
It wasn't Shady.
He was prime Shady. Now this is what I'm gonna ask you: Can awesome Eckler run between the tackles like Shady can? Does he have a history of being just a solidified running back that's not just a pass catcher?
I was reading in training camp that that even though like that's actually a moniker that he carries, but he's a 200-pound guy, and he's actually been wowing the reporters with his strength and about how he's been handling blocking and how he's been manhandling kind of the people coming in. So I think his strength might have increased. So I'm a little bit in favor of that, but generally speaking, this is all conjecture.
Yeah, this is all coach
yeah,
speak.
Yeah. So, but if based on last year, I think he did most of his damage in space.
Yeah, he's not.
But why would they go up the line if the line's so terrible? They're going to try to throw it into space.
The argument that I am making is you can't simply say, oh, Eckler's the next Shady. LeSean McCoy, I know he's bad now, but he was still a generational talent when he was in his prime.
I wasn't saying that he's the next McCoy. I was just saying that a running back was able to thrive next to Tyrod Taylor.
Well, he didn't really have. I mean, I want to say that he has better weapons in LA than he did when he was on both the Bills and the Browns. Because, I mean, when he was in the Browns, that's when Hugh Jackson was still coach. Nick Chubb was a rookie. That was before they had Odell Beckham. So he had Jarvis. He had Njoku. He had there was some third string wide receiver. Can't even remember his name, but everyone was waiting for him to break out all year.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about.
The guy with the big eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was supposed to break out all year, and he never did shit.
Oh my God, oh my, I can't. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
His name is on the tip of my tongue. Yeah,
same here.
He had butterfingers. Can I actually?
But real fast. He was real fast.
He was fast. Can I go over my team I drafted last night? Because we only got 11 minutes left. I want to go over the players.
I think I sound like, dude, I had you in a corner and you're wiggling out. All right.
Well,
dude.
This
all
is.
right.
Can I say one last thing about that?
Please.
Just because I get it. Like I had, but to me, it's like you look in that second round and you look at the running backs there, and each one of them that's typically there has something that's disconcerting. That's why they're there in the second round, not the first. You look at who was available there. Like when Brian made that pick, you had Aaron Jones, you had Miles Sanders, you had Austin Eckler. All three of those guys have concerns. To me, I was super bummed when I saw him pick Eckler because I would have gone Eckler over Sanders or Aaron Jones. I think that, it's kind of the same thing when people say, oh, Lamar Jackson isn't going to do what he did last year. Christian McCaffrey isn't going to do what he did last year. They don't have to do exactly what they did last year for them to still deliver on value. Austin Eckler, what he gave you last year would have justified picking him up in the first round, I think.
I agree.
And even if he falls off a little bit, it still justifies picking him up in the second round. Yeah. I think he's a top tier guy. But I do think Connor brings up a valuable point. We just have to see the way Taylor plays. Like maybe Taylor isn't going to run as much. It's been a few years, right? Like he might not be as quick to run as he used to. We got to wait and see how it plays out. But I do think that is something to consider, that, Phillip Rivers is not a runner. But Taylor might not be either anymore.
Yeah, Good point. Connor, there are a few things I think that I would like to address that news that happened that I think our listeners would want to hear that might help them with some moves, some decisions, or drafting. So if you don't mind, can I just hit these points real quick?
Hit
And
'em.
because I think that I would love to talk about your draft, but I want to make it was on I think it was Saturday or that Jadeveon Clowney signed with the Titans for 1 year, $12 million and incentives that could make it up to $15 million. Okay,
Yep.
so last season he had 31 tackles, 3 sacks, and 13 QB hits in 13 regular season games for Seattle. And we all remembered when he returned that interception for a 27-yard touchdown, and then also forced a fumble for a 10-yard score. So with Clowney on the Titans, how does it affect Titans on both sides of the ball? Connor.
I think everyone in this Zoom meeting will agree with what I'm about to say. The person that gets the most of a bump is Mr. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the doc he picked up the Tennessee defense, and you dropped who was it? Kansas City?
No, I put Debo on my IR and picked up.
Oh
Titan.
yeah, that's right.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look
So
at that
see,
move.
Smart move. The season's already starting, guys. I think that their defense is. I was already interested in their defense. I remember talking about New Orleans and Tennessee because those were the and Seattle. Those were the possible. And Cleveland. Those were the 4 possible spots that Clowney was talking about going to.
New Orleans, dude, looked like it was there.
Yeah,
it looked like New Orleans.
They were the front runner, but I'm still in on them.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Imagine?
Oh, dude, too good.
Yeah.
They would have been too good, but I like it. I think if Tennessee's out on your waivers, go pick them up, guys.
Ethan.
I mean, obviously the move I made, I think, speaks for itself. Tennessee they were a sleeper defense. I think that actually them and the Colts, 2 teams in the AFC South.
Connor was on that.
Oh, Connor was on that.
As a sleeper. Yeah, he sure was. Yeah, dude, I'm giving you props. You're on that way while ago before all this mess. But continue.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was like it was one of my moves. Like if let's say the top defenses are picked up. New Orleans is gone, Minnesota, right. Chicago. Go for the Titans. But with them adding Clowney, they now enter that top defense.
Yes,
in my opinion, because you have a player who, point to his he doesn't he doesn't sack the quarterback, like he doesn't get it. Like he is a disruptor. The dude messes up what the offense is trying to do, even if it's not like there's some metric I heard it had to do with being able to break off the blocker within 2 or 2.5 seconds of the play starting. And he's like top 5 in the league, right? At that. That's why he disrupts things,
Oh yeah.
But I like it.
Oh yes. Yeah. And I, in our draft, who drafted Derrick Henry?
You did, brother.
Hey! Yeah, so I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, and I agree with Connor that it does help out Derrick Henry. And that's why I was so excited about it.
Okay.
So because I have an invested, well, both Connor and I have a vested interest in this one situation. Josh Gordon is back.
Ooh, where's that? Right here. Flash. Ah!
I can use that. So.
Okay, did anyone in this room pick up any of the receiving pieces for Seattle?
Nope.
Awesome. Good question. No, I did not.
Nope.
I did not. Yes.
I had a chance to, and I chose Robert Woods over DK.
But okay.
That's an easy pick right there.
Yeah.
Whether the Gordon news was there or not, I would go Woods over.
Yeah. But do you guys think that with this signing that it's a signal that Russ is going to cook? Ethan.
Oh, you know what, man? I mean, so they did pick up Carlos Hyde, right? But that's it. That's the only real move they made at running back, and they're still rolling with Carson, but they're it seems like they're signaling that they're going to be an air raid offense, right? With Russell at the helm. Their defense isn't. They just lost some of their defense, so they know they got to score. They know they got to put points up, and they know that they're not going to be one of those, teams like the Titans, right? Or like the 49ers, where you can control the tempo of the game with your defense and run game. That's just not going to be them. So you go with your other strength, which is you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league and a great wide receiving core.
What part of the defense they lose?
Jadeveon Clowney.
Okay. Connor, anything to add?
I stick to my narrative that I've been saying all season. I think that Russ will be unlimited, and I think that Gordon's gonna play a couple games, catch a couple balls. I wish him the best of luck.
There you go. Oh, see, okay, everybody, we just witnessed something. Did you hear that tone of voice? Did you hear that? You see the black hoodie? You know what that is? That is the official death. Let's give it a moment to Josh Gordon in the flex.
Yeah, moving on to bigger and better things. I have Jonathan Taylor in the flex now, which I feel immensely confident about. And I'm going to talk about that. So in the Bo Jackson League last night, it was 12 people. And I was proud of myself because I was able to get a lot of the guys that I got in our 10-man league in a 12-man league. And I felt like that was an accomplishment. With my I got the 12th overall pick. With my first pick, I was still able to get my boy Joe Mixon as my RB1. And then I went around and got Josh Jacobs as my RB2. So I have the same 2 RBs. Yes, and I still have Jonathan Taylor in the flex too. Yeah, so I have those 3 guys, and I have Juju as my wide receiver 1 once again, and Robert Woods is my wide receiver 2 once again. So a lot of the same pieces are here. Fitzmagic is my quarterback, and of course Aaron Rodgers is my backup quarterback on the bench. And then I got Jonnu Smith as my tight end. So a lot of J's. We got Juju, we got Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, Jonnu Smith, and Jonathan Taylor. But one thing I did do in this league, since the Amigo and the Doc weren't here, was I got to draft all those guys that I normally don't get to get. I'm talking about Kareem Hunt. I'm talking about all of those guys. I got Marquise Brown, Kareem Hunt, Antonio Gibson, David Montgomery, and Alexander Madison all sitting on my bench right now. And there's a guy in the league who owns Dalvin Cook and Nick Chubb, so I got that guy's number if anything happens to his guys.
that was I was on the phone with you whenever you were looking over to see like who you could potential trade with, and you're like, hey man, I own this guy.
Yeah, I do.
Like, I got everything on him. Yeah,
it's one bad hammy.
At least.
Yeah,
at least. Yeah, you're actually 2 bad hammies away from a championship. Okay. Yeah, you want to continue?
I just got the only pieces left are I was able to get the Cardinals kicker Gonzalez, which I was actually pretty happy about, and the Bears D fell to me, which I was kind of stoked about.
Oh, that's awesome. That is great. You've been keen on them for a long time.
Yes, that is my favorite defense.
All right. I do have dude. There's a few. I'm looking through my notes, and there's a few things. I know we're a little overdue, but I mean, I really think that we should address these real quick. Okay.
Quick shots.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can go back and forth. That'll be fine. We'll start with Ethan. Okay. Leonard Fournette, Ethan. Okay, he's now officially signed with the Bucs, and Rojo is said to be the unquestioned starter. But I'm thinking about in a month it'll be the Leonette show, and so keep in mind that a little over a week ago Rojo left a scrimmage due to a foot injury. Okay, yep. So what do you think? So what do you think about him going over there?
I'm optimistic about it. I wouldn't. There was a draft I was in where someone picked up Fournette in the first round. I wouldn't go that crazy, but as a late round option, I think Fournette's great because those late round options, you're not going to get a starter. You're going to get someone who is great in line to start, and if you can get the person that might be the running back that Brady hands it off to, and is kind of running. I mean, think about where Fournette was last year and how he was still able to be a very consistent RB2. At least that's what he was for me on my team. and that was on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now he's playing for a better team. Yeah, he's not the unquestioned one, but
He's
you
happy.
know, so I like it. I like Fournette, but just don't reach too high for him.
All right. Okay. So Connor, on two-part question for you, man. So this is on the WTF news. Okay. Okay. So, of course, what made me say that those three letters on Sunday morning was Adrian Peterson being signed by Detroit. Well, hang on, you say. How could he be signed by Detroit if he's on the Washington team football, right? Well, no, they cut him, which opened the door for choo choo, right? Antonio Gibson, right? So and so there's a tremendous amount of hype. So I want to get your opinion on Antonio Gibson and where you think that he would rank, even though that there are quite a bit of running backs, like J.D. McKissick, Bryce Love, Peyton Barber. So there's a lot going on in there.
Peyton Barber's there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Scare you. Yeah, but here's the thing that's going to scare you the most. Dwayne Haskins was named as a starter.
Yeah, that is the thing that scares me the most.
So how does the news of Haskins affect Scary Terry and Antonio, and of course talk about Antonio and in the stable of backs?
I think it affects Scary Terry more than Gibson. I think it's gonna, I'm all for people breaking out right away. I was telling the doc about this, and I'm pretty sure I told the Amigo too. I forecast Jonathan Taylor having the biggest week one. I see him hitting right away. I'm starting him. Gibson is not a guy that's like that. I think it's going to take him a couple of weeks to get acclimated because he's not just a running back. They're using him all over the place. That means more time to learn the playbook, more time to learn pass protection, more time to learn the cadences of quarterbacks' calls and things like that. Being able to know when to go in motion, when to do this, when to do that.
Can I chime in, because there are reports that he has been spending now much more time in the running back room than in the room of the wide receivers. So that kind of narrative isn't really holding any as much.
So post Adrian, he's in the running back room.
This happened leading up to them cutting.
That
Adrian.
is actually the best news that you could hear if you were a Gibson owner then.
Which one of us is?
And me.
Yeah.
Both of us.
With Gibson, it's like I'm not going to start him week one because I don't know what it's going to be, because you bring up great points. I mean, you got Dwayne Haskins, right? But and don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying he's going to be CMC, but CMC did what he did with Kyle Allen as a quarterback and that offensive line for Carolina. All right. I mean, yeah, you had DJ Moore going out to catch passes. He's a great wide receiver, fantastic wide receiver. I think he had top 10 potential, but CMC did what he did with a terrible offense. Not saying Gibson's going to be that. That is not what I'm saying, but I don't think that having all those bad things will prevent you from being relevant, fantasy relevant, or being able to, be an RB2,
Sure. Okay. Great. And how does it, Connor? How does that affect Terry Haskins being named?
I wish I had one of those funeral dirge trumpet.
Yeah. So he's scary on the other end. He's scary to own, not scary for the other people.
I didn't draft him, so I chose Juju over him, and I did a complete 180 on Juju. So that if I'm more willing to change my outlook on Juju than draft Scary Terry, I'm not really in on him.
Okay.
I prefer Ben no elbow Havenberger throwing my wide receiver the ball.
Okay. All right. And Ethan, Mohamed Sanu was released by the Patriots. Okay. So who is the wide receiver to own in New England? Edelman or N'Keal Harry?
I mean, my intuition says Edelman, because I think he's the best wide receiver. And he's old, but he's Mr. Reliable. Another one, a player that I had last year that was a pillar of consistency for me. Yeah. But the gut brought up a great point about Cam Newton. I think I don't remember what episode it was. If you go listen back, it was probably between episode 5 and 10 when the Cam news happened. Cam likes to throw to the outside receiver, not as much of a slot guy. So that makes me think maybe N'Keal Harry is going to be the one that gets the biggest bump from Sanu leaving.
Okay.
But it also just means that it was a move that the Patriots made that was terrible. Terrible move.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
Yeah, you answered the question without answering the question. You said, "Oh yeah, Edelman, he's a rock," but Nate Newton throws the outside.
My
Choose one.
answer is I think that N'Keal Harry is going to get the biggest bump. That's
Okay, that's the one to own, N'Keal Harry.
Over Edelman. I mean, I'm not going to pick N'Keal Harry over Edelman in a draft necessarily, but I think who's going to receive the biggest bump from Sanu leaving, I think it's N'Keal Harry.
And you're saying that because you can pick up N'Keal Harry like in the pool, right?
Exactly. Chances are he's available on waivers right now.
Gotcha. Connor. All right, man. Here it is. The bad taco. Sony Michel is back. Okay. Yeah, he's just gonna go away. So
what's that smell?
Yeah, it's the best. It's
like
Sony
Pyrat.
Michel. Right. Well, he was sharing first team reps with Damian Harris, but Damian Harris has now hurt his hand last Sunday and still hasn't practiced.
This is if you have Sony Michel, the best thing you can do is use it to trade for Tyreek Hill. That's what I did last year. That's what I suggest you do if you own Sony Michel. It's the only positive thing you can do with him.
And Zach is in your league, so you have to have those two things.
Shout out to Zach, my man. Let's do it again this year.
Yeah,
Sony Michel wasn't exactly he isn't exactly riding the same wave he was last year. So I don't know if you could get the same value for him this year.
He wasn't riding okay. If he was riding a wave last year, he was riding those like tiny waves that you see in Galveston that like hit you when you're waist deep in the water.
It was enough.
That was
it was enough.
Yeah, there's 3 touchdowns on 16 carries for 18 yards. That's a wave, man.
And that's what Connor got for Tyreek. And the same guy was coming at me wanting Josh Jacobs.
I also no. I traded Adam.
He's
Thielen
a witch.
Too.
He's a witch.
I'm not
injured. Adam Thielen. He's a witch. Yeah.
I'm not wearing all black. It just looks like that.
Yeah. Connor. So who's the running back to own in New England? Sony, Damian, James White. Who do you think? Oh my God, it's the Emperor.
The answer is no. The answer is you do not invest in that backfield. Just like you are starting to divest from the Lions backfield, which I applaud. I would do the same thing.
Thank you.
Because who are the Lions coached by? Matt Patricia, an ex-Patriots. What is he He's trying to do the Patriots.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Okay. I got 2 more left here, guys. Ethan, Matt Nagy had just now named Mitchell Trubisky a starter over Nick Foles.
I think we know what we need to.
So what does that do to Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller? But he's right. That was a cue. That absolutely was a cue.
For me, I was already Allen Robinson scared me because of the possibility of Mitch Trubisky being the starter. I mean, I will say, I mean, when he was a starter, Allen Robinson was a good player to have on your team last year. He was a safety blanket for him. He knows that it's a guy that he can throw to
when he could hit him.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's like I think arguably worse quarterback. But because he's not good, he's going to be just throwing the ball to Robinson. But now that teams know that, defenses know that, they have film on it, they're probably going to be doubling up Robinson, and it just scares me. You got lackluster. I don't know how good Foles is really. I don't know what he looked like in camp, so it must have been not good enough to take out Mitch Trubisky. But that doesn't make great.
Just listen to what you just said. Holy mackerel! Not good enough
to replace.
I know. All right.
Awesome. Okay. All right, and last one, Connor. I'm throwing this to you because you are our This is a guy that you are in love with, and you are an owner of this man. But Theo Riddick really was released by the Raiders. Okay, which is great news. You think, all right, great. Of course, my immediate thought when I heard that was the whole the Matrix thing. You hear that, Mr. Anderson?
Yeah.
That is the sound of inevitability. That's what I heard. But then it came out yesterday that Dare Ogunbowale, from the one who just got cut from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is visiting the Raiders. Okay, and he's considered a great pass blocker and plays mostly on third downs, which actually would work perfectly with Jacobs. But it's being reported that Jalen Richard is the primary pass catching option, and so Adari would be the depth piece for that too. What's your thoughts, man? Does this bother you about being a Jacobs owner? Are you like, I mean, all the news, the Jalen Richard,
It does and it doesn't. It bothers the part of me that wants Josh Jacobs to get like 80 receptions this year.
Yeah,
right?
I wanted that too.
But it doesn't bother the part of me that's like, Josh Jacobs, he's a stud. He's a man. He will get his. I'm not worried about less talented people taking away from his talent. I mean, it might like take a little off his ceiling. He's my RB2. I only need like 12 points from him each week, and I still think he's good for more than that. So I'm not too worried.
Might need more than that. Yeah, I don't know, Juju. I don't know if Juju can handle it. Yeah,
dude, I hope Juju has a monster year.
Oh man, if we had a little bit more time, we would go over our rosters. Maybe we could just spit them out real quick. Yeah, before we leave. What do you let's see here. Yeah, okay. So you're saying you're not worried at all that it's a lot to do about nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, that's where we got. That's it. That is the information and the news when we got to hear about Connor's information, Connor's draft. But I can't help it. I got to spit it out because I want this to go on record because this is not the team I'm going to end up with. Tom Brady, Kenny Galladay, DJ Moore, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Hayden Hurst, Deshaun Jackson, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Swift, Stephon Diggs, Ryan Tannehill, Dallas Goedert, Leonard Fournette, Zane Gonzalez, and Minnesota's defense. I'm going on record to have that. So like when we go and check back, like maybe even a month from now, I doubt it's going to be the same roster. It's not even the same roster I drafted.
Yeah, I'll do mine because I've made some moves as well. So I'll put mine's already has moves made on it. So I got
talk about the moves the moves like the ones that you're on there, why they're on there, who'd you drop or whatever. Yeah.
All right. I got Drew Brees, DJ Chark, Calvin Ridley, Christian McCaffrey, Miles Sanders, Darren Waller, Aaron Jones. Then on my bench, I got Devontae Parker, Sutton, Gibson, Scott, Cam Newton, and my IR, I have Deebo Samuel. And the moves that I made thus far, because I picked up Kansas City defense, I stuck Deebo on the IR and picked up Tennessee's defense after the news about Jadeveon Clowney. I'm still holding on to Kansas City's defense right now. I want to see this go through, nothing, fall out, and then I'm stuck with Tennessee's defense over Kansas City, and the news isn't good. So those are the only moves I've made so far.
Oh, and you had the first pick of the draft, and I had third. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And Connor, go ahead and talk about yours, man.
My team. So I one second. I deleted that file. I didn't think we were gonna look at our teams again.
Okay, I'll spit it out. Kyler Murray, Juju Smith-Schuster, Robert Woods, Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, Mike Gesicki, Jonathan Taylor, Noah Fant, Matt Breida, David Montgomery, Duke Johnson, spite pick, Aaron Rodgers, and Henry Ruggs III.
Now, the Duke Johnson, while there was spite in the pick, the spite wasn't where I picked it. I would have picked it regardless.
Joey Sly and New Orleans defense.
I'm a Sly guy. And I want you to know I took your advice. Gesicki is now in my starting lineup because I thought about the rationale, and it's like, well, if I'm banking on Fitz having a good week, I should put Gesicki in because I want a piece of that pie.
News just broke. Wentz is in full practice now. This week, no concerns.
There will be
Yeah.
another news report 2 hours from now that Wentz is suffering with a sore back.
That's awesome. And you talked about Ruggs, about how Ruggs got to your lineup.
Yeah, I picked up Ruggs. I dropped Crowder.
Well, easy now. Easy. No, this is what it's like to play with Connor. Okay, Connor drops Crowder, picks up Chase Edmonds. Then same day, like only the almost same hour, drops Chase Edmonds, picks up Henry Ruggs. So man,
Hey man, it was a long day.
this is how you get 200 transactions in a season.
It's also how you get 2 rings.
No,
Look
we
at
already
them.
went out of that. You're a witch. we already
So-
went over that.
So pretty.
He's a witch.
They're so pretty.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and close the this very laborious show. And so normally this is Monday, of course, but normally we record these things on late Sunday night. Definitely we're going to be doing it now since the season's happening. So we're going to record on Sunday night. Okay, so that way we'll have it up on Monday morning, so you can get a jump on what moves to make based on the events of Sunday. Help you prepare for Monday Night Football, and also help you get a jump on those those darn waiver wires. Okay, and now that the season has started, this is going to be the first time in 2 days. On Wednesday, we're going to record our first start sit show for week 1. So make sure, guys, to tune into that. So if you see, so hit the subscribe button, and so when you see it pop up and you see there's a new episode of Shoot the Gap, don't be like, hang on, what's going on? It must be posted twice. No, that's that real important start sit. So check it out because you're going to be happy that you did. All right, so I want to make sure and thank, of course, the supporters of the show, High Volume Music Radio. Go ahead, Pride of Sunnyside. Check out their app. Please download it. Check out highvolumemusicradio.com. You'll be happy you did. And, of course, the SportsHosts app. Any parting shots, Ethan?
Yep, just keep watching those waiver wires and make sure you stay in touch with your news before the season starts this week.
Connor, parting shots?
I just want to say shout out to all our subscribers, shout out to all our supporters. You know, this is where the season begins. So just remember, if we get big, y'all were what started it. Y'all are the OGs.
Man.
And if you don't, I hope you have fun just watching us.
Yes.
Beefheads bantering. All right.
Beefhead banter.
All right. So, guys, so in 48 hours, we're going to be back. Yeah, I will be back. All right, guys. So here it is. Remember, everyone, in fantasy football, as in life, don't dream it, be it. Enjoy your week. Actually, see you in 2 days.
Later.